Hello and welcome to Talking Wrestling with Pondwater Dave. I am Justin Davis, and as always, I'm joined by the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Miss Amy Vaughn. Hello, Amy, and of course, the man. Oh, she's got her Four Horseman hat ready to
Heck
roll.
yes, 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 yes.
The man who counted Ric Flair's last match, we think and hope, Mr. Pondwater Dave. What's going on?
How y'all doing tonight? Real excited about this show tonight. We've got a really neat guest, and I'm going to bring him in. At this time, I want to welcome a wrestler that's been in the business for over 20 years. He has been a three-time OVW Tag Team Champion. He's been a three-time OVW Television Champion. And on two separate occasions, he's been the OVW Heavyweight Champion. You can currently see him on the very popular Netflix documentary, The Wrestlers. Please welcome to the show the Arkansas Roughneck, Tony Gunn.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How
Glad
you
to see
doing?
you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, that was a good build up. I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. We're real excited to have you, especially with right off the bat. I want to ask you about this Netflix documentary. Do you think that it's helping let a broader audience know that OVW is not the former WW training ground anymore?
Yeah, and also too, like here in, because we're based out of Louisville, Kentucky. Not a lot of people know that OVW is still around just here in this city, much less across the U.S. or across the world. So us being on Netflix and having that spotlight, so to speak, for Netflix just kind of shows that OVW is still here. It's not the same place as what it used to be as far as the developmental territory for WWE or anything like that. I think we're a little bit more superior than any other independent promotion out there. So it's nice that we've had that light shed on us, for the general audience to see what we're about.
But y'all still are a training ground. I mean, between
No, yeah,
Al
we
Snow
are.
and yourself.
Yeah. So we have three different levels of classes: a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Cash Flow does the beginner level. I do the intermediate, and then Doug Basham, along with Al Snow, does the advanced. So yes, we're a trade school. We are still a training school for professional wrestling in the ring and outside the ring as well too. So if you want to learn like uh, you know writing and production work and things of that nature, you can come develop those skills here with OVW as well too. But yeah, but what's nice is that we're finally getting away from piggybacking, so to speak, off the name. We're riding the coattail of WWE, which we're not doing that anymore and haven't for some time now.
And I think I've heard Al Snow talk about the fact that you had mentioned it. You all are a trade school. You're able to get financial aid, right, to come to.
Most definitely. Yeah. So it's just like any other 2-year trade school out there. You can apply for loans and I believe grants as well too to help pay for your schooling.
That's
That's
awesome. I never knew
awesome.
they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was him talking about that because again, I'm sure the biggest problem for most people is the money that it takes to go to school, a wrestling school or an academy or whatever. And I do remember him talking to that. I live in Kentucky also, so
Okay.
I am actually a big fan of OVW. I used to watch it when Jim Cornette and Dangerous Danny Davis used to run it, and you all came to my fair, and so I actually came to the event that night that you all were down. So I knew a little bit about it, but very excited to hear you talk again about the evolution of it because you're right, it's not a training ground anymore. I know they want to talk a lot about John Cena and all them coming out, but you all have a weekly show every Thursday. It's live. You've got multiple characters, a lot that we did see on the docu series, but there's probably, I mean, there's probably a lot more people that maybe weren't on the show that are doing great things there too. So
Most definitely, yeah. There's a lot of characters backstage with wrestling, most certainly.
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good that it gets the word out. I knew y'all were still a territory, but I didn't know that y'all were running television 52 weeks a year. And I can only imagine that the series will help with your pay-per-views.
Yeah, hopefully so. It's already helped with our TV, like because we run every Thursday. That's our TV is every Thursday, and it's generally hard to draw on a Thursday because it's a school night, so many other events, and we're a family-run show as well too. So we want to have the kids and the families there as well. So, but it's been nice, like just have like again going back to this spotlight on us, and this past Thursday, like the first time in a long time. Probably the past few years, we had a sold out crowd at our TV show last week, and tomorrow for TV, it's looking to be around the same picture as it was last week.
Yeah, I think they even posted on Facebook that y'all have sold out.
Yeah,
because my family and I are coming next weekend. We're on fall break. Do you all have fall break up there?
Yeah. That's starting Friday. Can't wait.
I bet. Well, we're on fall break next week, and we're going to go to the October 5th show. So I'm looking forward to it. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing you there. So.
Yes,
I think
definitely.
it says a lot for y'all's fan base that y'all had multiple music festivals, and you're still selling out. I mean, it didn't take away from you.
Yeah, because Louder Than Life just started last Thursday, I believe, and that's just one of the biggest music festivals around. So it was kind of nice to still have the crowd that we did, the sold-out crowd with that music fest going on.
Well,
Tony, sorry, Dave.
We were talking about putting a spotlight on. I'd like to put a spotlight on you and find out about your journey into professional wrestling. I noticed that one of the things I found on you that you were in Mid-South out of Arkansas with Matt Riviera.
Oh yeah, that was probably right after I was cutting my teeth, so to speak, and first couple years into wrestling. Oh man, you're showing that picture. That picture's awful.
blame my wife. She's our producer.
The stages of growth. I started back in 2003 is when I started training in 2002, had my first match in 2003. I'm from Arkansas, so I trained down in Memphis, Tennessee, down with Memphis Wrestling, with like Lawler and Dundee and all those guys down there, the old school guys. And that's where I kind of cut my teeth, so to speak, and learned the ropes. And I think I had 10 or 12 months of training and then had my first match and just ran the indies for a while.
So what brought you to wrestling? What made you want to be a wrestler?
I was just, because I was around the time in high school where it was the Attitude Era, the late 90s, The Rock, Stone Cold, Mick Foley, all those guys, the heart of the Attitude Era. And just kind of watching it as a kid. Long story short, I was just the kid that never grew up. So I just remember back when me and my buddies were in 10th, 11th grade, even up to my senior year. Like I lived out on a farm out on like 10 miles on a gravel road. And my dad and my mom and dad let me build a wrestling ring in our backyard, so to speak. So we made it from scratch. Me and my buddies chipped in and we held our own trainings, which was crazy. We learned how to do the arm drag, the hip toss, the body slam, drop kicks, all that stuff. And then we ran our own shows, just pretty much performing for us, and had a few friends come over. So like, we just had fun doing that. And I went to my first match, first show, and it was in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It was back when Memphis Wrestling was still developmental for WWF or WWE, whatever you want to call it. And they were running a joint show with WWF, like a super show there at the convocation center at Arkansas State University. And I remember the headline was Triple H and Kurt Angle. And I believe Kurt Angle was the WWF Heavyweight Champion at the time, back when he had hair. I just remember sitting third row, watching that show, first time being at a wrestling show. I watched it for years on TV. And I just remember sitting there and just listening to the crowd and just hearing how the performers in the ring are just pretty much just having this crowd react. And I just remember sitting there being like, man, I want to be the person that makes the crowd react like this. And ever since then, I was like, as soon as I graduate high school, I'm going to find how to get into professional wrestling.
Cool. So were you a DX fan or are you a NWO fan?
Well, to be honest with you, like I was like one or the other, like because the Monday Night Wars, WCW and WWF. I never really watched WCW because I was, true and through to WWF, so that's pretty much all I watched. And so I knew of NWO, but I really didn't know much about NWO because, like, again, I love DX. I was the kid at school that showed up with my buddies, was telling everyone to suck it,
Justin, that was you too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Tony and I are the same age. So, yeah.
I was going to say, I think that's the same timeline.
Hey,
Yeah,
I was in my 30s doing it at work.
Well, Pondwater, we can't go by what you do because that's just not.
Well, he said that he's never grown up, and at 57, I haven't either. I've got witnesses.
True, yeah. Never going to either. Never going to. Age is just a number, my friend. Right?
Yes, sir.
So,
Look at that.
That's an awesome jacket. Love that jacket.
oh yeah, right. That's your Arkansas Razorbacks, right?
Yeah.
So when was this picture taken? What do you know?
That was probably the last time because I know I was a heel at that time at OVW, and that was probably mid to late 2019 because I think that's the last time that I had the heavyweight title was back then.
Mm-hmm.
So that was around that time frame.
What this is kind of an odd question, but how did COVID affect you all at your at OVW?
It was crazy. I'm sure as far as for a wrestler, like for me anyways, like it was, I don't know, like I'm sure a lot of the wrestlers are the same way, like, because you weren't working, you were out of work, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't do anything. You're used to being on the road, traveling 24/7 and doing something on the weekend. So like when COVID just shut everything down and you were just stuck at home, not doing anything, like I kind of lost my mind. Like I feel like I was going stir crazy and just needed to do something. Personally, for me, I hated it because I'm always the type of person that has to be doing something. But as far as for a company with OVW, I think they ran maybe a few weeks of like pre-recorded, like flashback type shows and stuff like that. Remember this and yada, 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 those type of shows. And then when we started running again without a crowd, like that was just a whole nother different aspect that we weren't used to. It was just like, you're pretty much just performing for yourself or in front of the boys. And that was a very, very difficult challenge for us to produce it and to perform as well too, because a lot of the part of being in the ring is listening to your audience and listen to the crowd reaction. And when you're sitting on crickets and you don't have that, it makes your job a lot harder in that ring.
I can only imagine.
Well, I mean, even if you have a small crowd, if they're enthusiastic, you can feed off of it. Like this past weekend, unfortunately, we didn't draw a very good crowd, and but the ones that were there, they bought into everything, and they got an incredible show, and hopefully they'll tell everybody, and it'll be better next time. But the nights that they're just sitting there on their hands, and you can hear what's going on in the ring better than you hear what's going on in the crowd. I can only imagine what it's like for a wrestler.
Yeah, those are challenging nights.
Because it's really, it's awkward for me as a referee. I can only imagine how the wrestlers feel.
Right.
Oh, definitely. That would be awkward.
Are you like most all the other wrestlers that we hear from, and do you enjoy being a heel more than being a babyface?
It's for me, it's all situational. Like being a heel, I think you can have a lot more fun because you can let loose more and just show a different side of you that you generally don't show like out in the public. So in that aspect, like it's really enjoyable and fun to do if you're good at it. But like for me, it's just situational. It's what the story calls for. And if it's something that like, because I've been doing this 20 years and And it's not just having a wrestling match, but if I'm involved with a good story, whether I'm a babyface or a heel, like as long as I'm having fun with it, like I'm going to make it, I'm going to do the best I can to make that great. So, but no, yeah, it is more fun to be a heel, but and on the flip side of that coin, I enjoy being a babyface as well too. Again, it's just all situational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any trepidations about agreeing to be on the Netflix docuseries, or was you like 100% this is just going to get more eyes on me, so why not?
That's the name of the game. This is the entertainment business, so it's like it's one of those things where it's like if you have hesitation, why are you even in this business to be shown in that aspect? And I know me as well too. I'm the type of person that I don't make a fool out of myself. I take myself serious. I don't do any stupid stuff or anything like that. So I knew filming me really wasn't going to hinder me, as far as for my profession in and outside the ring. So
yeah, you came off just as kind of one of the adults in the room, so to speak, for sure.
There's very few of those.
Well, and as I was say, this picture right here, you're kind of like in a booking meeting, I guess you would call it. So you do a lot. You said you're a trainer, and obviously you're sitting here in a booking committee. So you do a lot backstage too, and you're one of the adults in the room. When did that transition? Like, how long have you been kind of maybe went from doing just wrestling to hanging out with these guys, Cash Flow, Cal, Doug Basham, and doing things backstage?
Yeah, well, I kind of hang out with these guys on a norm, especially Cal. Cal and I, we travel the road together, especially going up to Wisconsin and stuff like that, because his father runs shows up in the Milwaukee area. Awesome shows, by the way. It's called Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. Just a little cheap plug right there for Dave Hero. But that I didn't really start getting into like not really producing, but agenting and helping out with storylines, stuff like that, until like I think it was 2019 when I got injured. I tore my tricep off the bone back when I worked Sammy Callahan back early 2019, and I was on the shelf for some time to recover. So I started helping out with like production, with calling times and matches and stuff like that, and running storyline ideas and stuff like that. So I started getting into different avenues, probably mid 2019. But it's kind of hard to do that as a wrestler, in the ring and backstage as well too, because it's hard to give 100% here and 100% there. So I don't really do a lot of that right now, but I do help out as needed, but I'm strictly focused right now, with my story and the ring type stuff.
Yeah, I shared with the guys, OVW was putting out, you're climbing back to the top. That's kind of your storyline right now. You want to be back on the mountain. You were wrestling. Who was that? Who did I send you, Dave? The Hallie J's boyfriend.
Dark Storm.
Dark Storm. I don't know if that was recently, but
that was a couple weeks ago. Who are you wrestling this week? Or are you wrestling this week? I am. I'm scheduled to be there. As far as who I'm in the ring with, I have no idea. So yeah, Dark Storm was 2 weeks ago, which I came out winning that match with the kill shot. And then last week I worked Cal Hero, so it was a baby match. I had a good competitive back and forth match, and I didn't know, but somehow Adam Revolver got involved and caused something on that end, which I still won. So this week, I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be someone a little bit more challenging, but I guess I'll find out later on tonight, if not tomorrow morning, who that's going to be.
That doesn't give you much time to prepare.
Not much time. Sometimes we know days in advance. Sometimes we don't know till we get there. So it just depends how all the booking goes down and where they plug all the puzzle pieces at.
That makes sense. I have another, again, because being from Kentucky, I'm trying to think how to put it. How do you think Matt Jones came off in the Netflix? Is he happy with the way he came off, or? if you can answer. I don't want to.
No, I can answer. No, I can answer. I'm just trying to think of a good way to put it is I think after he kind of saw this or maybe realized throughout the filming of the show how he was coming across,
Uh-huh.
I think he was trying to fix what was broken.
Yeah,
But you kind of see that if you watch the series all the way through, you kind of see that at the end,
definitely.
where he's just kind of realizing his nature that since he's been involved with professional wrestling, and I think he's kind of opened his eyes a little bit more as far as he really doesn't truly know wrestling, and I think it's hard. I think for a person like Matt Jones, it's hard for him to ask for help or want to have help.
Sure.
And that he's showing that now says a lot. So
Yeah. Well, if you would do me a favor, if you would help him with his bookcase that he has in his office when you watch that documentary, I felt like I was looking at it like, how does he know what he has? Because some of the books are not even turned the right way. And it's like, I think that,
No, I thought that was one of the best parts of the show, though, is like you were saying, Tony, kind of his transformation to the end of where he's kind of realizing that maybe I've been too intense and a little too hands-on. And I think that he comes across as someone that really, really cares. And I don't know that that's a bad thing. Maybe he cares a little too much at times, but he cares for sure.
No, most definitely, because he wouldn't be invested with his time and financially with our company if he didn't care. Yeah. So he cares. It's just him actually the way he shows and expresses himself. And he's learning to deal with that because dealing and expressing yourself to a group of professional wrestlers is a lot different than expressing yourself to people in the real world.
Right.
It's two totally different beasts.
Well, and even Kentucky fans, because obviously he has, Matt Jones is a broadcaster for Kentucky sports. And so, he's used to being, not loud. I don't mean it like that, but, like having that strong,
outspoken.
Yes, because, Kentucky fans are, exactly what I'm talking about, especially basketball, football too, but basketball, I mean, they're loud and very opinionated, and it's a phone in, right? I mean, a lot of times he takes phone calls. So it's just anybody and everybody who wants to call in to the show. And I do agree. I do think, like you said, he kind of comes off as harsh and almost, like you said, not understanding why people like wrestling and almost knocking it in a sense to where he's got that arc of he understands now and he sees the hard work you all are putting in. And it's not just you all going out there and just, showing up and going out there and coming back to the back. There's a lot that go into with advertisement and the people, the training and all that stuff. And I feel like you do see that at the end, but I was just curious because of just wanted to see how Matt thought he came off. Mr. Jones. I don't know him that well to just
I mean, he personally hasn't said anything, but as me as a viewer watching and seeing how he's presenting himself now, I think that he's kind of realized that.
Good.
Did you think this would go over as well as it has, or did you think people would care and want to watch it?
It just, like before it even came out, I was, because wrestlers were asking like, man, I wonder what's going to happen, yada, yada. I was like, whether it's good or bad, it's going to be good because there's going to be a spotlight on us. And no matter what kind of light it casts on us, it's going to be good. Right. Our show, it could be a total train wreck. It could be very heartwarming and, rooting for this guy type person. Whatever light they shed on us is going to be good because it's going to a broader audience that doesn't know who we are, doesn't know what we're about, and all that. So that's what I've kind of thought in this whole process.
I think people really like it because, it's about wrestling, but it's also a 5, 6, 7 episode complete story arc with characters that you fall in love with or don't like. And there's a lot of character personalities there. For me, I mean, watching the first episode, I was like, okay, And then by like the third, I was like, I couldn't wait for the next one to start, because now
Yeah, they hooked you at the end of every episode, which is nice. So the way that was, didn't mean to cut you off, but the way that's shot and put together, and the lighting and everything, they really made that look really, really good. Greg did an awesome job.
There was more in it that I enjoyed than there was very little. When you're peeling the onion, when you're showing behind the scenes, sometimes I get a little uncomfortable watching some of that. But I got to admit that there was only, when I come away from it, there might have been like 2 things that, man, I wish I wouldn't have seen that. But other than that, I thought it. I mean, how can anybody that watches it has to be pulling for Haley J now? I mean, they hear that she's getting a tryout, and how can you not pull for her? But then what you saw on the documentary, you're like, man, I hope she, I hope that doesn't bite her.
Yeah, I hope she can pull her head over her ass.
Yeah.
But
that's all I'll say about that.
But I mean, I'm glad it was a documentary and not a reality show.
Yeah, and it was nice too, the way they like you said, they peeled back the curtain, and the layers to the onion and all that. And it was nice that they, because they could have totally exposed everything and made it look so much different, because they got a whole summer's worth of footage, like literally hours upon hours upon hours, so they could have filmed that totally different and presented that differently, but they did protect a lot of the stuff that goes behind the scene as well too. But they did shed, a little bit of light on some things as well, as far as like how stories are told and the writing process and all that, which is kind of cool to see, so.
I heard Al say that on Road Dogs podcast today. Yeah, they showed a lot, but they didn't show, they kept it, they didn't show everything.
No, they did not. They held back quite a bit, to be honest. And it was kind of interesting to see them do that, because I thought it was going to be totally different when it came out.
Do you think there will be season 2?
Fingers crossed. It's we all hope there is, not for the sake of just us, but for the viewers as well too, because it seems like almost everybody that has watched it really, really likes it and enjoys it and wants to see more. And that's what more can you ask from a casual audience that wants to see more, so when a show ends and you want to see more, that's a good sign to have. So that's up to Netflix. So that's totally up to them, as far as, I don't know how they measure things and all that, but just knocking on wood that season 2 happens.
Good deal.
Yeah.
I want to jump away from the docuseries for a second, because I know that you have spent a lot of time at OVW, and you mentioned going to Wisconsin with Dave Hero, right?
Right.
With Great Lakes Wrestling Association.
Championship Wrestling. Yeah.
Oh, Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Where are some other places? And you trained in Mid-South, but where are some other places that maybe people might have seen you wrestle?
I mean, I've been with various independent promotions over the years. Right now, truly, my schedule's so full with OVW, with training and weekly TVs and weekend shows, and my shows and the shows, Dave's shows in Wisconsin. Like, my plate's pretty full right now with shows and bookings and stuff like that. But every now and then I'll travel out to like Ohio or Pennsylvania, down in Arkansas, Tennessee. But right now, mostly I stick with OVW shows and Dave shows up in Wisconsin.
I was going to say, with weekly shows.
It's great that y'all have. I mean, I think it's great that y'all have that every week. There's not a whole lot of promotions.
No.
I mean, OVW and MPX in Bedford, Texas are the only 2 I can think of that are, off the top of my head, that are running 52 weeks a year.
Yeah, we've been running every week longer than SmackDown, I believe. So, like, we're the longest running wrestling TV show besides Monday Night Raw.
That's awesome. And you're on Fight TV, right? That's where, if anybody wanted to watch OVW.
That's the easiest place to find us, is on Fight TV. You can literally install the app on any Android smartphone, any type of smart device, and it's real easy to use and it's free.
Awesome. I remember the day OVW came on at like 11 p.m. on Fox in Louisville. So
Yeah,
that's nice that you could see it at, a decent hour.
yeah,
I'm older.
yeah. What's great too is you can rewatch the episodes whenever as well. So you don't have to watch it live per se. You can watch it whenever.
Yep.
I'm just
all right,
looking at all the
Tony.
different.
Look at all those channels that this.
I know. That's what I was
is
just looking at. All that. That's.
Yeah, it's which I mean, those are like all those other channels. It's really hard to find. You have to really hunt for them to find them. So, like when people ask where to watch us at, I just stick with Fight because that's the easiest.
Sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, but it's still awesome that that's available. I mean, people like you said in Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, like there are options for anybody to really watch OVW every week, and I think that's pretty cool. What's it like to work with Al Snow?
I love Al Snow to death. We've built a pretty good relationship over the years because I've been with OVW for 11 years now, something like that. I don't know. It's getting too long to count. But Al has a lot of trust in me because I am one of the adults in the room. I've been there for a while, so he gives me a lot of freedom, which is nice as far as like storytelling in the ring and different ideas and stuff like that, which I enjoy. And there's some times where he just puts his foot down as well. But working with Al is a blessing because he has a great mind for wrestling. And he's one of the type of people he'll tell you, I know more. I've forgotten more than what you know type thing. And that's the truth. He knows what he's talking about, and he can explain it in a down to earth tone as well too, without making you feel like a fool or anything like that. So a very caring, passionate person. If Al didn't like wrestling and didn't want to see other people succeed, he wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I loved listening to him produce the announcers too, because you could just hear his knowledge. Everything that he was telling them to say was exactly what needed to be said in that moment, and it was just perfect. Just the many talents of Al Snow.
Oh yeah. He wears many heads there at OVW. Many heads.
I don't think people sometimes realize. I've read his book and it's very good, and I had the opportunity to tell him that. I don't think people realize how long he's been in the business. I think sometimes, him coming out with head like that is probably what's really permanent in people's minds. But like, he started wrestling at 18. Like you said, in Ohio. So he has been around for quite a while. And like you said, he has a lot of knowledge. And I just don't think people maybe realize that until the book and now the series, like you said, seeing all that happening in the background.
Yeah, and that's one blessing about the series too, is like when I watched it, that's the best thing that I enjoyed about this series is the Al Snow story. And the very last episode, like I don't get goosebumps often or feel a certain type of way, but like watching that when he wrestled and just, knowing his story and just knowing that after this show came out, like he's going to get some recognition and some recognition that he deserves because he hasn't had any love from the wrestling world in a very, very, very long time. And I hope this show will help other people in the wrestling world and outside of it as well too, see what type of person he really is. And just hope that he gets recognized for that because he deserves it.
Yes. Well, he is, his saying about a pat on the back is 2 feet above a kick in the ass. I mean, my husband has said that. I don't even know how many times. That's his favorite part of the wrestler, the wrestling documentation. He just thinks that's pretty a phenomenal statement. So I've heard that a few times.
Yeah, he's a very quick-witted person and all that. So.
Yeah,
he's also very much a no bullshit person. And that is appreciated, I'm sure, in the wrestling business where you come across some interesting characters. And just to have a guy that is an absolute no bullshit at all type of person has got to be refreshing to work with too. Probably.
No, it's nice because this business, the entertainment world, will chew you up and spit you out. And there's a lot of people that like to dangle the carrot, so to speak, and try to lead you on. And Al's one of those people that doesn't lead you on, which is nice. And I can relate with that because I'm the type of person that I don't beat around the bush. I'll tell you how it is and all that as well too. Because I don't want to be lied to or made to look like a fool, and I don't want to do that to anybody else as well.
Yeah.
Okay, another weird question. So, what did people that I did not? Okay, so I knew Matt Jones and a group also owned OVW with Al, but the mayor of Louisville being part of that, I had no idea. Is that made a difference at all? Like, is that made OVW seem different, or was it a surprise to other people too? Because, like I said, Matt Jones is kind of the more out, more of a face, I guess, of it. But like I said, I was not aware of that, so I didn't know
Yeah.
if that's
No, Craig's more silent because obviously Mayor
Sure.
he's got a little bit more things going on his on his plate and stuff like that. But he wanted to be more of a silent person anyways. And there's a couple other parties as well too that are invested as well. And they don't want the recognition or anything like that. And Matt being the talker and out there in your face type person, he wanted to have that role where he is kind of the voice of all the other investors and stuff like that. So, but no, as far as Greenberg being involved, it hasn't really changed anything as far as notoriety or anything like that. But as far as like structure of the business model for OVW, that has changed the landscape tremendously.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let me circle back to training.
Sure.
Because when you started, I would imagine that your wrestling school wasn't preparing you for television wrestling.
Nope.
So now OVW, because I learned last year, there's a huge difference between arena wrestling and television wrestling.
Oh, night and day.
I got a crash course in it last year, and I mean, what I didn't know, I didn't know. So I would have liked the opportunity as a referee, when I learned to work for television, and in this day and age, with the advent of streaming, because I mean, even the smallest of shows now can put their product on a national platform,
right?
With Fight and with Premier Streaming Network and so on, or just putting it on YouTube. So having a place to go to learn what you need to know to put on for television, or when they eventually get that call that maybe they can go to AEW or WWE or Impact, I think that's a great thing that y'all offer.
Yeah, not like you guys were saying earlier. There's not a lot of companies out there that run weekly TV, so that's nice in the sense because and I do train my students how to work television as well, because that's the heart and soul of OVW is weekly TV along with our pay-per-views and stuff like that. We do live events as well too, but that's where you try new things and learn. But like working TV and working a typical house show is night and day, because you have time cues you got to hit, you have a story that you have to tell, you have business that you have to get over, and you got to know where the cameras are at, right? So you can show your facials, you can show your body language, you can tell that story to those cameras, whether it's you got the one hard cam or the 2-4 or however it is, and knowing your angles in the ring versus just going out there and doing the wrestling or whatever. Like, not only do you have to go out there and work and tell a believable story that you two are going at it, but you also got to be able to present yourself to look good on camera as well too, because you do need to look the part as far as being in the ring and knowing how to work the cameras. And if you do develop that skill, especially young, starting out, you're going to be light years ahead of everybody else that hasn't been on TV and doesn't know how to work on TV when you go up for a tryout match or something like that. And if they know you're TV ready or have a general idea how to work TV, that's going to make you a lot more attractive to that company versus someone that does not know how to work TV.
How often do you accept students into the wrestling academy?
It's trying to think, it's They were skipping semesters because of the way they were running the school. So they were doing it the past year. It's been every 6 months. Now I think they're going to go to every 3 months. So every 3 or 4 months, I believe it's going to be enrolling a new set of students.
And so beginners start with cash flow. And is that just like, when you say beginner, is it a beginner of everything, or just like learning moves and then they go up to intermediate, which they learn more about television, and then when they get to Al and Doug, they're kind of polishing up kind of things, really putting their character together?
Kinda. The beginners class, you're more or less, you're learning the roles, how to roll properly. You're learning your bumps. You're learning you're learning footwork, how to move in the ring without tripping over yourself. You're learning how to control your body, because if you can't control your own body, you're not going to be able to control somebody else's. I think Cash also gets into hitting the ropes, like learning how to hit the ropes, and a lot of it's conditioning, getting you conditioned and ready for the intermediate class. So they really don't learn moves or anything in the beginners class. They learn how to lock up, and they might do an arm drag or a hip toss or a body slam. But other than that, it's just pretty much the rolls, the bumps, hitting the ropes, footwork, and conditioning, cardio, and knowing how to control your body. Then if they graduate and make it past Cash's class, they come into my class, intermediate. That's 3 to 4 months. And then my class, I kind of take those skills that they've learned, and then from there we start incorporating psychology, putting together spots and scenarios and situations, and having them by the end of the class or the end of the semester to work a typical babyface versus heel match. So that's what we'll kind of do in my class. Really don't work on character work or anything in my class. Mine's just the fundamentals, as far as like the moves and basing, along with footwork, ring awareness. And my class, I do a lot of them calling on the fly, because I don't like to tell them what to do unless I'm looking for a particular thing. But if they're working something in the ring, I want them to talk with each other out there and call it out there, because I think you're a true wrestler needs to learn how to talk in the ring versus just doing what you're told. So that way you can think on the fly. And then once they make it out of my class, Doug and Al will come in and test them and see if they're ready for the advanced class. And then once they go to the advanced class, which is with Doug and sometimes Al, that's more as far as improving their psychology, working on character work and developing character work and things like that, and kind of sharpening and honing those skills.
Cool.
If that all makes sense.
Yeah, I think
we
it
got
does.
some people in our chat here, Tony, and we got a question from down up. Our buddy Ben Jones from Australia, Perth, Australia, to be exact. He wants to know, who would be your dream opponent, past or present?
Oh, man, dream opponents. I would say in the past, because there's 2 people that got me into wrestling. One is Kurt Angle, and the second is Ken Shamrock. Those are the 2 people that really wanted me to be a wrestler. So if I could step in the ring with either one of them, that would be amazing for the past. Now, for present, really doesn't matter. Whoever I can draw the most money with is who I'd like to be in the ring with.
That's always the answer, brother.
That sounds about right.
Well, Tony, before we get you out of here, do you have a merch store?
I do have my own personal store. You can go to shotgunTonyGunn.com. Again, it's shotgunTonyGunn.com. I have t-shirts, 8x10s, hats, beanies, all kinds of stuff on there. So if you want to check it out, it's a pretty cool site. Also has different videos and about me section and all that as well too. So yeah, there it is, shotgunTonyGunn.com.
Awesome.
Shotgun Tony sits around. That's something else.
Love it.
All right. Well, Teddy, we really appreciate you coming on. It's really been really fun kind of listening to you and learning more about your story coming up into wrestling. And it's been really fun getting to know you and everyone over at OVW and on Netflix here these last few weeks. So I'm glad that you guys are out there and getting seen and onwards and upwards. Good luck to you guys.
I have one question though.
Yeah.
This is for Pondwater Dave. I just gotta know. I just gotta know this. How did you get the name Pondwater Dave? I've been asking for a while.
Conrad Thompson is one of my best friends, and he was doing his podcast with Tony Schiavone, and I have a pond in my backyard.
Okay.
And I work for my day job is with Frito-Lay, and one day out of the blue, because my nickname's Super Dave. And he goes, Tony, this was during COVID. He said, Super Dave doesn't think he can get COVID. And Tony said, really? Why is that? And he goes, because he drinks pond water and eats hot Cheetos. Well, when Conrad messes with you, I've learned that it's better to lean in than resist.
Yep.
So Pond Water Dave was born. Plus, we were doing a little thing on ad-free shows called the Sad News Bears. And I knew that Super Dave was a trademark that I couldn't do anything with. But Palm Water Dave,
nobody has that.
If we were ever going to do anything,
imagine that.
You're good with that one.
Like, I can do there is no Palm Water Dave.
Yeah.
So that's how I got it. It's just Conrad was screwing with me and it stuck.
Gotcha.
Tony, you need to ask him, why did they call him Super Dave?
Yeah. So that's another story. So they call you Super Dave.
30 years ago, I got attacked and I was shot. I got shot in the head. I got shot in the back of the head, shattered my jaw, and came out under my eye. And I had a little Superman tattoo on my arm, so the doctors and nurses at Baylor Hospital in Dallas started calling me. They were calling me Super Dave all week.
Really? Wow. Sorry to hear that. But
well, I mean, it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tony, go back in the archives, Tony. You can hear the whole story.
Man. Super Dave's awesome, but you know what? I think Pondwater Dave tops it. So
well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate your time tonight. You didn't have to do this, and you were gracious with your time. And we've been doing this almost a year now. We're trying to grow this thing, and we can't thank you enough for helping us.
Hey, man, you guys have been awesome. It's been awesome chatting with you guys and all that. I'd love to be on anytime. So just
you have an open invitation. There's everything you want to come on and get out there. The door's open for you.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
All right. I'll see you next week.
I do shows 4 times a year in Arkansas with Bayou Independent Wrestling. We run Fountain Hill. And there's some talk of, man, I can't remember the town that he's wanting to add, but so maybe we can cross paths one of these days.
Hey, that'd be awesome. What part of Arkansas?
Fountain Hill is just down there, close to Louisiana.
Okay, got you.
Farmersville.
Yeah, that's real too south for me. I'm from the northeast area of Arkansas. Yeah. Well, I'll see you next week, Amy. So make sure you stop by and say hi. All right.
I definitely will.
All right.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate
it.
Yes,
much,
thank
Tony.
you.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
The Arkansas Roughneck, Tony Gunn, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Well, he was that. I enjoyed that immensely.
Mm-hmm.
We had us a TV star on, y'all.
Hey, and I'm gonna.
So silly.
And I gotta apologize. I'm having to mute because I've got a house full of people tonight. We have a new grandbaby in the family. He's 2 months old, and he's made his first trip to Mississippi.
Oh,
and
I
everybody,
saw you.
all the family in Mississippi, decided they wanted to come and meet young Hesse.
I saw a picture of you snuggling. I'd be down there too.
I think the producer of this show should walk into the other room and get him.
Ooh.
And
doesn't help me, though I can't hold him.
And we could show the world what young Hesse Kai looks like.
Oh.
We got a exclusive premiere here on
our youngest fan and our oldest fan.
I'd say I just dropped a hint. I think I heard the door open, so we'll see. That's if y'all are hearing any background noise. That's what it is. But
I think that would be really cool. It'll be interesting if they do a second series.
As long as they keep it a documentary and not a reality series, and I'm going to tell you why.
Mhm.
when I was starting out with PCW. Hello, Aubrey. When I was starting out with PCW, they were doing a reality show.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to my grandchildren.
oh my gosh!
This young man, this is Hesse Kai.
Isn't he?
Hesse just like Jesse, but Hesse with an H. And Kai like Yippee Ki-Yay. I'm going to call him Cobra Kai. And this little angel right here is Aubrey Lane.
Look up there.
Can you say hi to everybody, Aubrey?
Wave at him.
Can you wave?
Is this her brother or is it?
No, this is her cousin.
This cousin. Okay.
Kingsley, you wanna come say
This
hi?
is her cousin. But we got a whole house full. There's 2 more kids over here, Brindley and Kinsley.
I do not blame them at all.
So
I'd be
that's
wanting that
so if
baby
y'all are
too.
hearing a little noise, that's what it is tonight. And it's not my job to tell them no or to be quiet. So
I understand. Too, they're about the baby and the kids, so they don't, what
Yeah.
you're doing back there is no big deal, right?
right.
Um,
This is my buddy right here. I'm surprised she hadn't been with us. I'm surprised she hadn't been back here before.
I like her pajamas. Are those like Halloween, like fall pajamas?
No, she's got Mickey Mouse on there.
Oh, is it Mickey Mouse? But
Mickey
is it
Mouse,
Halloween?
Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck.
Oh, okay.
There's pumpkins on. There's pumpkins on
Okay,
there. We got
okay.
we definitely got a Halloween theme going.
Gotcha.
But we'll go back to PCW. The family that owned PCW is the Bussy family, and they did a reality series called the Bussy Bunch. There you go, baby. So they did the Bussy Bunch, and I learned that reality television isn't really.
Real?
Well, I
Is it
mean, I
really
was there.
reality?
I was there to train one night, and they came and said, "Hey, you're going to get in the ring. We're having open tryouts."
Oh.
So, on episode 2 or 3 of the Bussy Bunch, I was in the wrestling. Episode 2, I was in the wrestling ring, trying out for a spot for the main show.
Yeah.
But when there was a wrestler, the Angel of Sin, when he walked in, I think we all kind of knew who was going to win, and. I mean, he wins, and they make him some custom gear real quick, and they legitimately made him custom gear real quick, and they debuted him on their television show. So
Right.
because we had our Friday night show was for the school, and the Saturday night show was their television show. We had PCW Uncut for the training, and then Full Throttle for the television show. But there was a lot of stuff for the reality show that was. It is what it is, and that's why I like the wrestlers, because I really felt like I was watching a documentary, and one of my favorite parts of the show was Dark
Storm.
Storm.
Is it Dark Storm?
Dark Storm was doing interviews in his beat up car.
What?
Yeah,
That's what I didn't understand.
I love that too. I loved it.
That was funny.
That dude
like,
is quite the character, man. When they opened up with him getting his haircut and he's telling all about his tattoos and all that, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be some good shit right here.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I do think, like I said, I feel like you are rooting for certain people, and for all of them. I mean, I think you're really getting a good look. I would love to see a season 2, season 3, whatever. I mean, I think that would be really, really interesting. As like you said, as long as they don't try to,
Right, but
you know what I'm saying,
if
like put too much stuff in it that's not them.
But if they called it a reality series, and I mean, I just like the documentary, but by the end of it, you're pulling for them. You
yeah.
want them. You want this to succeed. You want to respect the history that's come along. I mean, you want Ohio Valley Wrestling to continue to go.
Yes,
It kind of is like the Bad News Bears story, because at the beginning you're like, oh, look at these slapdicks, and then at the end you're like, oh, I want them to win.
Yeah,
I mean, and they were talking about they were bleeding money like $30,000 a year. Was it $30,000 a year?
No, it was. It was more than that.
But
yeah,
Might have been $30,000 a month.
But I mean, I don't know where the expenses were I mean, you know they got to succeed with their streaming and they got to succeed with their pay-per-view because that building, you're not going to sell enough tickets to cover that.
Right.
I mean, $30,000 houses are, you know, you need arenas. So
right.
So I mean, we know what the business model is, and you're pulling for these guys. And I mean, talking to Tony, man, I can't wait to see what's going on with Tony. And now I know that I can watch Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. And Domino Chris said it was $180,000 from January to July, and that was in 2022. So granted, you know, coming out of I mean, that's why I asked him about that. Like, I can only imagine what that was like. Maybe some bill, you know, maybe that was kind of the back end, you know, expenses, you know, things that kind of piled up through COVID or whatever. I have no idea, but, you know, they did a tour. Like I said, they came down to our little neck of the woods. Tony was there. I got my picture with Doug Basham, and I got to see Haley J and some different ones.
And let me say that I think Doug Basham looks better now than he did when he was active wrestler in the WWE.
Oh, definitely.
Al Snow too, man. He is jacked.
I like the little montage they did at the end. You know, when he was going to have to perform.
Yeah.
You know, and it be a spot on the pay-per-view and all the things that he was doing. If you follow him, which I know a lot of people do follow Al Snow and Doug Basham, they do post a lot. He does that, whatever the Iron Sheik, what are those big things called? Those big things that
those clubs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Clubs, you know, he does that too, like the Iron Sheik does. Al Snow does that a lot too. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Well, we can't thank Tony enough for coming on. It means the world to us because, like I told him, we're dedicated to try to grow this thing. We're really trying to put a spotlight on independent wrestling,
because it's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, again, watching that wrestling, you know, wrestlers documentary, I mean, they got good storylines that, you know, there's arcs, there's different things going on. I mean, it's worth watching. And so, I mean, I know sometimes people think just WWE and AEW Impact, but I mean, there's a lot of really good storytelling going on out there.
Yes.
And like you said, we have the ability to get to talk to all kinds of characters and be introduced to different shows and promotions and things that are going on. It's so much fun.
I got a coworker at work that I'm trying to get him to come to the November show in Vicksburg for BIW at City Auditorium. And because I know how he feels about it right now, but I want him to come see it. Because I think I can change his mind about it. Because he kind of half-ass likes it, but then he kind of half-ass don't. I mean, we've had to talk about, I think that somebody trying to tell him that professional wrestling is 100% real offended him.
Okay.
But I mean, I was telling him, you know, John Moxley the other night got hurt.
Yes, he did.
He got hurt in the ring. Don't call that fake.
No, it's predetermined. That's the only thing it is.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not fair to call it anything that hurts that bad fake.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I mean, I get that that's the word you go to, but it's not. It's an art form, but it's painful. And when he was telling you about when he starts with cash flow, just getting them in condition, because some of you guys learned at Top Guy Weekend that when you hit those ropes, you're going to bruise.
I did bruise. Did you saw the picture of my bruise on my back?
You're going to bruise. Those ropes are not forgiving. They're not rubber bands.
You're a delicate flower though, Amy.
That's very true. And I only did it like twice. I mean,
Amy's
I got excited.
Nails.
I got excited
delicate
though going.
Flower my ass. Oh my God. And Natural Hill.
You hush. No. Hey, but you know, speaking of the Top Guy Weekend, is Adam Priest, is he going to be on that November 11th show? I feel like I saw a poster of him. He's going to be
Adam Priest versus Ray Fury, I believe.
It was. Is it November 11th? Is it Vicksburg?
I'm
I
pretty
could be
sure.
wrong. Sorry.
We might,
I like.
I, I don't think
Oh,
he's Arkansas.
okay. I shouldn't have put you on the spot. I just because Adam Priest was at the Top Guy weekend
Oh
with
yeah,
us.
definitely. And we were gonna have cash flow.
Yes.
We were gonna
I
have
saw-
cash flow, but because of OVW commitments, he's had to pull out of that show.
I bet so.
And I mean, I hate that because I was really looking forward to working with him.
Yeah, he came. Cash flow came to our fair, and I think Aaron bought something from him. But he's a very charismatic. I mean, you know, he's a very charismatic guy, and I like. I mean, his wife. I mean, is super supportive, and they're doing everything they can, uh, to help him with his dream. I don't know how old he is or how long he's been involved. Maybe we should see if Cashflow wants to come on with us too. I'm going to try to talk to them all next week, so I might get kicked out. I may not never be allowed back. So
Well, they're lucky.
Never know.
I mean, that's what I like about doing this show because I'm the referee. You and Justin are the fans,
yes,
and I like your enthusiasm. And you're not one of those that wants to pick everything apart. You're very enthusiastic about everything that's going on. And you don't go out of your way to crap on things. And I like that. And I think I like that dynamic about this show, and I hope everybody else does too.
yes.
And
I think so.
I'm sorry I didn't get to the studio audience earlier. We were just utilizing our time with Tony Gunn. But we, as always, we thank y'all for showing up and running along with us. We're going to be changing programming note here. We're going to be moving our shows primarily to Tuesdays, maybe Thursdays. We're going to be juggling schedule around. Maybe an occasional Monday night show.
What? No, just kidding. No.
I mean, we're gonna come off of Wednesday nights. Allison Faye said, "Could I be any later?" No, you can't. But better late than never, Allison Faye.
Perfect timing. We appreciate. Allison Faye's
So-
been flying around the country, so we so appreciate one of her
Allison-
first stops home is with
Allison
us.
she just came for the trivia. That's all she's here for.
Well, she
I
made it
got
in
some
time.
good trivia.
We're fixing to start trivia. I'm quit rambling. And,
Hey, can I just say real quick? Arn finally liked my picture of me in my new Four Horsemen
there you
hat.
go.
I was wondering. I was like, when
Hey,
are you going to? Brock liked it yesterday. I'm like, when are you going to like it, Arn?
All is right with the world again.
Exactly. I feel so much better.
Well,
Complete.
you know what, when you think of Arn Anderson and championships, what do you think of?
The TV
TV
title.
championship.
Greatest television champion of all time.
Yeah.
And I would say that belt, you got it handy?
Oh my gosh, I got the belt
you,
handy.
You can show the
Oh.
picture. You can show he's holding the belt.
Yeah, because I knocked over Dax and Cash the other day, so I've got to. Can you see them?
Almost.
My
The
stupid
ring light
light.
on it.
My
You're
ring
trying-
light.
There you
How
go.
about that?
But when you ask people about a world television title, Arn Anderson's is the one that you think of. And
And
if
he
you
put
want,
to my Amy, just so we clarify, you're
so
the
if
best.
you're a promoter
Loves me.
and you want your champion to be remembered for a specific championship, attire with a belt from Big Time Belts, and we would like to thank them for sponsoring our show.
Awesome. I definitely think a fantasy football trophy instead of a trophy, like I think a belt would be the way to go. To have that, and and then you pass that around.
Yeah, if there was a belt
think that would
available
be-
for the league that I've already blown this season,
Oh,
I'd be much more pissed off about my performance.
you've already blown it. Like
I'm
it's
0-3. I've lost to Brandy.
Oh.
I've lost to Little Jimmy.
Oh,
Who'd I lose in week 2 to?
Welcome to the 0-3 club, Dave.
Man, I lost to everybody.
you're 0-3 too, Justin.
Well, my first pick was Nick Chubb, who got hurt in the first game, and he's out for the season.
Oh,
and
well.
My second pick was Joe Burrow, who's played like poop. So, yeah, my team has been very good. So.
Hey, I'm going to tell you that I got on one of those elimination leagues where, you pick the winner. It's a Survivor League.
Survivor League.
And I thought I was out on week 2 with Philadelphia. I thought the Vikings beat them, and then I learned that they didn't because I was still in for week 3. I got the email, hey, you haven't picked your team yet. I thought I was out. So let me tell you about my football. I grew up in Dallas. I'm 57 years old. All there ever was for me was the Dallas Cowboys. 5 Super Bowls. I'm just saying, 5 Super Bowls. I became accustomed to having more winning teams than losing teams. I mean, last 30 years has been rough. But I love the Dallas Cowboys. But God dang it, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. How do you lose to Arizona Cardinals? The week that I pick you on my elimination, so week 3, I'm out. I'm done.
Really?
My own team screwed me. My own team screwed me.
Yes,
That's
fair.
their predicament.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
Jesus, and they're good. They're a good team.
I know.
My week 1, I got 35 points on my defense. I almost won week 1 just on my defense. The best defense in the league gave me -2 points this week. But
That's football.
And I don't even really watch it professional, but like I saw Miami Dolphins. It was like 70. Like they beat. I mean.
Oh yeah, they beat Denver
play?
70-20. And I'd
Denver.
heard that once upon a time that coach that beat them 70-20 was their ball boy.
Yeah, he was.
Oh.
Mike McDaniel.
He was the ball boy for Denver, and then he comes back and beats Denver 70-20.
Yeah.
Well.
And hey, tough titty, Sean Payton. You should have gone to Cal. You should have gone to Dallas.
What's his name? Russell Wilson says, "Let's ride" when he gets to Denver. That ride has been worse than JFK's through Dallas, I think. So. Denver.
I'm gonna have to edit that.
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
No,
Too soon. Too soon.
I'm gonna edit that for darkness because I do love dark humor.
Well,
We're gonna put explicit now.
I tell everybody all the time that if they would have took JFK to Baylor instead of Parkland, he might have made it.
Oh.
Well,
hey, I got shot in the head too. I can do it. It's socially acceptable for me to dunk on him.
That's true. Only people who've been shot in the head can make fun of
It's a
others
small group.
who got shot in the head.
Yeah, I have head issues, but I never actually took a bullet. Amy, do we have trivia this week? What do you got for us?
Yes. We've
Look
got.
at the new graphics on there.
Ooh, I like that. Thank you. These are the opinions of just. I like that. I don't know. I'll just say that. Okay, I've got to find my trivia because we're doing things a little bit backwards because Mr. Tony Gunn had to, we got him done in the beginning. So hold on. Okay, so as you all know, Tony talked about how he's from Arkansas. So the trivia we're doing today is about famous Arkansas wrestlers. And Tony Gunn is not one of them. I didn't want to make it so obvious, right? So.
Let's do this thing.
All right. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas on July 10th, 1924. My first recorded match was March 29th, 1948, where I wrestled under my real name, Houston Harris. I have won multiple NWA titles, single and tag, throughout my wrestling career. I won the WWF United States Heavyweight Championship 7 times, and I was inducted into the WWF Hall of Fame class of 1994 by Ernie Ladd. Credited with breaking down barriers of racial segregation in professional wrestling, I am considered one of the first successful African-American professional wrestlers. It is not Ernie Ladd.
I know it's not Ernie Ladd. He put him. It's I know who this is.
It's not Bobo Brazil.
It is Bobo Brazil.
Yeah.
Good
Is it Bobo
going.
Brazil?
It is. Good going, Keith Morrison. Coach Keith got it.
And then
yes.
Coach Keith got him late in his career when he was down on his luck and became Hobo Brazil.
You know what, though? After his career, he ran a very successful restaurant. and I think I can't remember if it was called Bobo's or Brazil's, but he ran a restaurant after he finished wrestling. So yes, Houston Harris, July 10th, 1924, Little Rock, Arkansas.
All right.
All right, next one. I was born February 18th, 1964 in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I spent a majority of my wrestling career.
Uh-oh.
Wait, Amy, can I read them first? You know who it is?
Oh, I know who it is.
Okay.
If you wouldn't have had him in as Arkansas-born wrestlers, I was going to write.
Oh, well, good.
Well,
for the listening audience.
Look at the last clue.
Yes. I spent a majority of my wrestling career in promotions throughout Texas. I won the NWA Championship, NWA World Heavyweight Championship by defeating Jax Dane in 2016. I was 51 when I won, making me the oldest wrestler to win that title.
Oh, I know this.
Pondwater Dave has refereed many of my matches, including a title match where I defended the NWA North American Championship at the Parade of Champions event, which just happened to be the same weekend as Dave's 50th birthday. It is not Mike Sharp. I'm sorry.
Quit taking my answers.
That's right. Amy and Justin will tell me how many clues it took Dave to get the answer, and depending on what they say, I will decide if I want to be friends with Dave anymore. Who is it?
I knew it when it was February 18th, 1964 in Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Oh, you did? You know his birthday?
I do.
That's sweet. Okay, tell him who it is.
It is my close personal friend, Mr. Tim Storm.
Do you know his real last name? Do you know his real last name?
He's Tim Storm to me.
Oh! I think I will be letting him know.
Don't tell it. Don't put his real name out there.
Why?
Because if I don't know it, he don't want somebody to know it. What is his last name? Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is.
What?
It's now I don't want to guess and be wrong.
Tim Guggenheim. That's my guess.
Scroggins.
I was gonna say Scoggins, but
Scoggins. I think it is Scoggins. Maybe I don't. I have to look and see if there's an R in there.
I did know that. I love Tim Storm.
We'll let Tim be the judge of that.
No.
But yes, it is Tim Storm. Is she got kids all over her? Is that why she's not flipping the page?
Probably. Yeah, she is. She just flung one into the wall to flip the page right there.
I was born December 21st, 1948 in Harrisburg, Arkansas. Even though I was born in Arkansas, I spent my wrestling career portraying a rough and tough Texas cowboy. I participated in the inaugural Survivor Series pay-per-view as part of Honky Tonk Man's team, and I was part of the very first Royal Rumble. I have spent time and won multiple championships in All Japan, Championship Wrestling from Florida, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Jim Crockett, NWA Hollywood Wrestling, and more. Sorry. I retired in 2013 and passed away in 2017. Do you know who I am?
Well, I was wrong. I was going to say Dick Murdoch, but I think Coach Keith is right now that I look at his answer.
Yes, it was Ron Bass. Coach Keith is right.
Woohoo! Look at Coach Keith hitting them out of the park. It was Ron Bass. Very, very good. His name was Ronald Hurd. I'll spit it out. Sorry. Ronald Hurd. Sorry
since everything to me is world class, Ron Bass was actually one of the people that challenged Kerry Von Erich for the NWA World Championship when he defended in Florida.
Really?
He's one of the 18 defenses. He might have defended it against him twice, but I know he defended against him at least once.
Interesting. I don't know if I knew that. Yes, you have done really well, Coach Keith.
All right.
I'll start reading the second. Okay. I was born December 16th, 1990 in West Memphis, Arkansas.
1960.
Oh, what did I say?
1990.
Oh, yes, 1960. Thank you.
That's
I
an
don't have my
upside
glasses.
down 9.
That's right. I don't have my glasses on. Sorry. I was trained by Tojo Yamamoto and began my career in Continental Championship Wrestling in 1987.
I know.
I have achieved success in all promotions I worked. I was WCW World Heavyweight Champion twice, WCW United States Heavyweight Champion twice, WWF Champion twice, CWA Heavyweight Champion, and I main event multiple pay-per-view events for both WCW and WWF.
And
I
hits a mean softball.
Oh
I
yeah,
suffered,
now that I see the leg injury, yeah, it's like
yeah, I suffered a horrific leg injury on television, and which almost ended my career.
Oh God! I just saw the last clue.
I did too.
Amy doesn't really care for me because I tried to kill her man with scissors in 1993. Who am I?
How did we follow that?
That's true. There's only one left. I know.
Justin's dunking on JFK. And Amy got Psycho Sid killing
He
our
also had one of the best heel theme songs ever, Psycho Sid. I loved his WWE music.
Yes, it was good. But I think, I mean, as the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club, I don't think I could have not mentioned the stabbing. Not my favorite.
Coach Keith's out there having problems typing with his iPhone.
Those sausage fingers are getting in the way.
No, I'm gonna tell you, it's not sausage fingers. It's the new predictive. It's the new predictive text on the new update. I mean, Siri has taken screwing us on autocorrect to a new level. It ain't autocorrect, just trying to finish your sentences. And I mean, we've all had that problem. So when he said that, I'm like, yep, he's upgraded.
Well, Coach, he did get it, even though it said 6. I think we all knew he meant Sid. So he's 3. He's done real good. And the last question. I was born September 29th, 1970 in West Memphis, Arkansas. I made my wrestling debut in 1998 for Power Pro Wrestling in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I debuted as Deborah's assistant on Raw for the WWF. I won the WWF's Women's Championship belt after winning a 4 corners evening gown match against Ivory, Jackie, and BB. During my time in the WWF, I had rivalries with Terry and Right to Censor. I was married to a very famous wrestler and commentator for the WWF. And when I was let go, my husband quit too.
The cat. Stacy Carter.
Very good. Yay. Stacy Carter. The cat.
There we go.
That is famous Arkansas wrestlers in honor of our guest, Mr. Tony Gunn.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I can't believe we didn't talk about Arkansas and didn't even mention me, one of the greatest presidents of all time.
We're waiting for you.
I made a very special guest appearance at WrestleMania 11. Don't you remember that?
Hey,
did you have sexual relations with that woman?
Hell no, I did
sleep
not.
with that young lady. We were up all night.
Poor old Slick Willie. He gets no respect. Well, thank you. That was fun. Arkansas trivia. I didn't expect that tonight. I don't.
Yeah, I always like to keep y'all on your toes.
Oh.
What's wrong?
Oh. Before we get out of here, I want to mention that Jade Cargill has signed with the World Wrestling Entertainment and has reported to the PC, and I'm super, super excited about this. And I would argue that AEW losing Jade Cargill is a bigger deal than AEW losing Cody Rhodes.
So
we'll have to see.
But
yeah,
I'm saying,
we'll see.
Well, no, I mean, I would argue that, but I put it out. We ran a poll. We ran a poll on X, And
We
65 people voted on our poll.
Really?
82% said Cody Rhodes was a bigger loss for AEW than Jade Cargill. But my thinking is that Jade Cargill was homegrown and Cody was already a star when he got there. And AEW has grown in leaps and bounds since Cody left. They probably enjoyed more growth. I mean, they're up to 3 shows. Wembley Stadium. So, I mean, they've done a lot. I'm not saying that Cody was the albatross holding them down. I'm just saying, I think that losing their homegrown talent, because, I mean, if I don't ever get booked on a show again for this opinion, Jade Cargill's a freaking star. Y'all had her going undefeated. How did y'all screw that up? How did y'all screw that up? That writes itself. How did she, undefeated. She should have been out there squashing people like Goldberg.
She was. I think that's what happened.
Well, no, they left her out there. They exposed her early. That when she was still green. But what I'm saying is, she could have been mashing people left and right.
Right.
And then you got, and I didn't say this, but wins and losses matter. Do they really? Because how you get a world title shot? Because you're the TNT champion, you ain't never been beat, and you never worked with the world champion.
Right.
You never worked with the world champion. Why? Because the wins and losses matter, and you ain't been beat. I mean, is it like wins and losses matter in another qualifying tournament for the number 1 contender?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing, is y'all screwed up with Jade Cargill, and she's going to be a big-ass star. Big star. I'm calling it now. I can't wait to see her against Bianca. I can't wait to see her against Rhea. I can't wait to see her against Charlotte. And I hope that her first match on television is against Natty.
That'll be a good one. I think probably, I mean, I do think she should be a star. I think, like you said, the fact that she was homegrown, we don't have much history of her and seeing her. We have a history with Cody and what he's been able to do. And so, and plus too, I think Cody being an EVP and leaving that company. I mean, again, the idea or the look of it, I guess you could say. I hope she does well. I'm with Justin though. I think we're just going to have to see it because we didn't get to see it as much in AEW because, like you said, she didn't really wrestle some of the bigger names, because.
And I kept waiting for it. Like, when are we gonna transition to? Because I mean, we needed to see Jade Cargill holding the TBS title in one hand and the world title, like Ultimate Warrior, like Goldberg.
Oh, definitely.
And then when somebody finally beat her, you could have made somebody.
Exactly.
But I mean, then she had a fart in church loss to Chris Statlander, and no disrespect to Chris Statlander, because I think she's awesome. But I'm saying, all of a sudden, out of the blue,
right?
I mean, she had a match, and then Chris Statlander. I mean, it was damn as close to as Money in the Bank as you could get. That she'd already wrestled a match, and she walked the walk that she said that she'd take anybody at any time.
Right.
But I'm just thinking that they crapped the bed with her. I mean, y'all, I don't understand why, and
I don't either, because I would really think that's kind of weird because I really do think AEW would be the type. I mean, I could see WWF. I mean, I feel like there are probably some wrestlers that we're just really like, no, they just really hadn't done it. Like, Chad Gable, like, my God, why have they not done something with him?
But when they did, did you think, and very credible against Gunther, who I think is probably one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. And I think, and I honestly think that Gunther needs to be the one to take the belt off of Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So the best fart in church I ever saw. This is hilarious. This old man fell asleep, right? So he's like 2 pews in front of us. He fell asleep in church, and he's kind of laying there, got a little half snore going, and then all of a sudden he rips the loudest fart because he's asleep. He don't know what he's up to, and when he farted, he woke himself up, and the whole church laughed, which was fucking hilarious. It was the best thing.
I love that you literally talked about a fart in church, and I thought you were going to talk about like a match you saw or something when you first started, and then you said old man. So I figured he's literally going to
I
tell us
told you
about
that
his
story in
farting.
confidence, Justin. I don't fall asleep in church. I don't fall asleep in church. Stephanie won't let me.
Good woman right there. Good woman.
Oh, that was hilarious though. When he woke himself up on his own fart in the middle of church, I couldn't. I was
Boy, I
almost
tell you
on the
what, our content just goes crazy after the guest leaves.
We got to. It's like we want them to come back, so we don't want to tell them our fart and church stories and that kind of stuff. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
not,
definitely.
They don't know
Back,
us that well yet, right? I don't think we
back
do.
when I was in high school, I just saved up all my church farts until I got in the car with my mom and dad on the way home.
Gosh.
That was always my plan.
You are so
That's what you
silly.
properly do with a church fart.
Do not.
Oh, have we
I
On
don't
said
that
it
know where,
all?
note,
I don't
yeah,
know where to go from there.
I think we've said it all. We've said
We've
too
said
much.
enough.
exactly. That's hilarious.
Do we have anything next week that we want to announce yet or no?
I definitely would like to announce it first.
Okay, let's do that.
Hey, and we grew some YouTube subscribers this week. We want to thank y'all for that. Even after we
Definitely.
announced that we weren't going to do the one chip challenge, but definitely go to YouTube, click subscribe. You'll help us out greatly. We're putting all of our eggs in our YouTube basket. We appreciate if you'd subscribe. Tell a friend. I think I just had a mini stroke.
You pulled a Mitch McConnell on it.
But next week, oh God, next week we're going to welcome to the show a really good wrestler, charisma out the ass. He is spectacular. He is the great Geo Savage will be joining us. I can't wait for y'all to meet Geo Savage. He is tremendous. He's one of my favorite people in wrestling.
My sister Mary and Ellie got to meet him in Vicksburg, and they are huge fans. And we're very excited when I said that could have them
the
on.
dude's got just charisma. I mean, just buckets and buckets of charisma. I mean, he is a special. He's a special talent. Athlete. I can't wait to have him on next week and for y'all to meet him.
Yes, it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. And what day is that? What, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
It's
Next
October
Tuesday,
3rd.
the 3rd. Tuesday the 3rd at 7 o'clock.
I kind of like
7
this.
o'clock Central Eastern. I'm sorry,
Central.
Central
Yeah.
time. Okay.
I kind of like this people in the background over there at Dave's. It's kind of like the old 90s sitcoms where you had the people in the crowd watching and you had them laughing in the background. That's kind of what I feel like we got going.
It's like he's at a bar.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
they all
doing a
came to
show
see
at a
those.
bar.
They all came to see those. Came to see that baby, and
I
I've been hitting the mute as much as I could tonight.
oh
Oh, it's
no,
fine. No,
I
it's
love
fine.
it. Like I said, I would be there too. That baby is super, super cute. I don't blame him at all.
Well, I'm fixing to get off and go in there and love on him. And
Thank you guys in the chat. Terry Weaver, Allison Faye, everyone that showed up, even Andrew Hermes, I guess. We appreciate you. And Ben Jones, everyone that came and hopped in there with us. We appreciate you so much. Coach Keith, who knocked out all the answers in the trivia tonight.
Yay!
Domino Chris, I just checked out his latest video of going to 30 stadiums in 30 days. His latest one is Petco Park or whatever it's called now in San Diego. So check that out.
Domino Chris, drop your
Twitter
your handle.
handle, YouTube.
drop your
whatever.
channel. Drop your channel in the chat so I can share it.
Yeah, he may not still be in here. He was
Oh,
kind of in there earlier.
Y'all can probably search him. Domino Chris. He went to 30 baseball stadiums in 30 days, and it's really good content. Yeah, and I encourage everybody to check it out.
I liked him talking about the different foods. I think that was kind of fun. Like what he ate, because he always ate something there, and
Yeah, he
what
had
they
some
might have been
brisket,
famous for,
some brisket nachos in San
Man,
Diego.
I'm a big fan of. Oh, let me tell y'all about some high school concession stand food.
Oh, I
We
know
went to
all
the-
about that.
We went to the state tournament down in Emmett County, which is pretty close to Louisiana. We went down there for my granddaughter's state softball tournament, and they had a dish called pastelaya,
Yeah.
which was
Really?
basically jambalaya with
It's
spaghetti
jambalaya.
noodles in it.
Yeah.
Really?
They cooked it over fire in a huge kettle. I mean, they're over there. It looked like they had like a paddle off a boat stirring it. And as soon as
That's some
I
Renaissance
went
stuff.
up there and said, I got to have some of that. And they said, it won't be ready till 12. And to tell you what, at 12:01, I was there with my $7. And it was the best thing I've ever ate at a high school concession stand.
There we go.
Awesome.
We got some pastelaya up here in Huntington at a little Cajun place, and they serve that. But it's made
Really?
with like spaghetti. It's made with penne noodles.
Oh, well, this was spaghetti with
Interesting.
chicken and sausage and
Ooh, that sounds
Jesus, it was
good.
good.
That sounds hearty. Like you're going to eat a bowl.
Yeah.
Chris,
it was
Domino
90
Chris.
degrees. It was 90 degrees. It was too damn hot to be eating that heavy, but it
Oh,
was good.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
we
Domino
headed
knows.
up
He's from down there in LSU country. He knows all about the pastelaya.
Well, and plus two, you
Oh
said
yeah,
he ate
he
it,
is
right?
from down there, so he probably.
Yeah. All right. We ready to take her home?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do
All right.
all our.
For the great First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Miss Amy Vaughn, for Pondwater Dave himself, I am Justin Davis saying, take care of yourself and each other. So long, everyone.
Bye bye.
Night, y'all.